Welcome back to another Schizospiracy, the Maga Burrito Hour number 4. It's that time of the month. Good to see everyone. Welcome everyone in the chat and any moderators and channel members out there. And to anyone that's listening to the replay, thanks for joining us. We are coming to you live on YouTube, X, and Juan's channel as well, I believe. A Clockwork Shining is now available on Tubi, so anywhere you can download the Tubi app, you can now watch my documentary, A Clockwork Shining, on Tubi. So even if you've seen it already, watch it again on Tubi. I have the link pinned to the top of the chat, and it's also in the description. And now, introducing our co-host of the Maga Burrito Hour, host of the One-on-One podcast, the one, the only Juan I Allah. What's cracking, brother?
What's up, dude? It's been a little bit.
Has been a little bit, and I'm glad that your video is working and you got the right mic in. Everything's adjusted. Everything sounds good, looks good.
Bro, it's the deep state trying to take us out, man. They don't want the truth to get out, and they mess with my connection. I mean, you've seen it firsthand, bro. Like, it happens. Like, it's not. So it must be the deep state and the reptilian overlords trying to hijack the connection so they can't see me.
How deep do you think that the deep state goes, bro?
Pretty deep. You know, did I tell you Florida is the #1 state for conspiracy theories?
That makes sense. There's a lot of crazy shit going on in Florida. The whole like Virginia Giuffre stuff that I've been looking into all comes out of like Florida. Jeffrey Epstein out of Florida, Trump out of Florida.
So
seems like it's also the cryptid capital of the world too. They got like one of the most cryptids in Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
So right here, so Florida top conspiracy theory state list in these rankings. So it's ranked as the numero uno conspiracy theory hotspot. But that does make sense, right? Because old Jeffrey and all those lists come from here. And I don't know if you saw, I think it was a couple days ago or something, I saw a streamer that I watch put out a clip about it, about the new head of the FBI or something or other, talking about, this is it, we're about to put out the, just give us a week, bro, give us a week and a half and 15 hours and 16 minutes with 33 seconds, or we're going to put the truth out. How many times have we heard the same thing over and over and over again? And it's like people fall for it too. They're like, yeah, what is it, Q, it's like any second now RFK is gonna resurrect and come out of the sewers to save us.
JFK Jr. is coming back from the grave, but that's the same thing with like the UFO community and ufology is the exact same thing. The aliens are going to be coming next month. We're going to have a big, huge disclosure with the aliens, and then nothing ever happens. And then they've gotten to the point where they're just pushing it so far in the future that it doesn't matter like if it happens or not, because then everyone's going to forget about it, you know? Like they're going to be like 2035, the Elohim are landing in their ships. They're going to give us their clone sex robots that everyone can have sex with. They're going to give us the cloning technology and free med beds. But by that time, 2035, there's going to be so much shit that has happened between now and 2035 that everyone's just going to forget about whatever prediction is that far in the future. And that's what people have been doing a lot recently, is they've made the date for the big event so far in the future that it's not even going to matter by the time that comes around.
Is it 2040 is the one that I've seen where this big event's going to happen, where it repeats every, I don't know how many years, but 2040 is still pretty out there. I mean, right? It's still some ways away. But I think that's how people keep the grift alive, right? To for the next biggest thing. And some people they have such a hard on for like end times and the apocalypse and all this. Some people think it already happened, dude. Like the apocalypse and Ragnarok, or whatever you want to call it. Like, bro, Jesus already done came, dude. He came back, a couple hundred years ago. It's already been done, right? But some people believe that he is still, like, I was raised like that, where he's still coming. So the people that, when I was raised, I was living my life in preparation for this upcoming rapture or whatever it is. But there's a whole sect, dude, that's like, nah, that already happened. So which is it?
Did we miss it? Were we asleep when it happened?
No, it happened during his time. You know, like when,
Oh,
100 years ago when he
oh,
was.
it's a one and done. They're thinking that it's a one and done.
Yeah, it was.
One
Well,
shot.
that's what they say. I mean, now we're living in. You have the little season stuff going around too. That's like the big thing now, where it's like, oh, and then if you try to combat it, they've already got the loophole. It's like, well, you're being deceived because it is the little season of Satan, and that's his job during this to deceive you. It's like, doesn't that work both ways though? Like, aren't you being deceived by believing? You get what I'm saying? Like, it could work both ways, but that's how they keep the mental gymnastics going. Where it's like, yeah, no, that's you're meant to believe it already happened because he's in control right now. It's like, all right, dude, I'm what? How can I argue with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you argue with that, dude? And they've clumped all the conspiracies together, bro. It's like now they include flat earth because at the center of the flat earth or beyond the ice wall, whatever it is where these saints are living or some shit where it's like they're immortal and that's where they're at. I can't argue with that shit, dude. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I just got a comment today from someone on your Instagram page where I was obviously making a joke.
don't read the
Um,
comments.
well, it was a reply. It was a reply to me, and they were like, "I can't believe you flat earthers exist." And I was just I was making a joke. Can't find it on my
Bro,
thing, but
I got a few videos of like I have one that's like over 100,000 views right now, and like there's been so many comments coming. I don't read the comments anymore, so just because I'll
no,
text
I don't
whoever
read the
I'm
comments
tagged
either,
with.
but it was a commenting back to my comment. So it was a notification that I got that I seen
Mm.
that I kind of had to read. I didn't go through and actually read the comments, but he was like, because I was like making a joke because it was something that you were talking about with some guy, some clip that you posted on Instagram, and I was like, I said, "You lost me at Planet. Planets aren't real. What do you keep simping for the globe Earth or whatever?" It was obviously a joke, and I put a little crying face emoji next to it, laughing face emoji, and then someone commented back, "I can't believe that you flat earthers exist."
Well, do you think we'll have GTA 6 before the apocalypse or like World War 3 or what?
I don't think it's ever coming, bro.
Because that one takes place in Florida, which is interesting too, right? The conspiracy capital of the world, having this simulated reality like overlaid on top of it. I think things are going to get crazier when people start doing things in Grand Theft Auto 6. I think that's when it's going to get wild because bro, it's like the mind palace idea where if you do a according to the lore, right? According to the magic and the secrets, if you conduct something in the real building of your mind palace or something, or the other way around, if you do something in your mind palace, which usually corresponds to a real place, a real building, usually you can cause an effect. So if you think of that like in the terms of video games, which is essentially like a mind palace of sorts, it's a make believe place, right? A video game. It doesn't really exist. But what happens when you start messing around in something that, like, as above, so below, sort of thing, where it reflects a real place, and you start messing around there? Because have all the other, there's been Miami Vice, right? That's one of the other Grand Theft Autos.
Well, you know that that's how they train the military, right?
What,
They train the military with video games.
you believe that?
100% they do. That's how they train them with combat is with video games. They'll take a real like heavy rifle, and then they'll have like a screen, and then they'll have like targets that you hit with the fake rifle gun where they'll like lay down in position and they'll shoot 100%. And then also they're just starting to do like VR stuff now too with the military where they're training people with tanks and like dropping bombs and all kinds of stuff with VR technology. 100%. That's exactly what they do.
So the original game's map encompassed three cities: Liberty City, based on New York City, but New York City was already a shithole; San Andreas, San Francisco, another shithole; and Vice City, based on Miami, another shithole. So yeah, I guess there's already been Grand Theft Auto games based on real places, so it's not that big of a deal. So I'll pass on that. I
Yeah,
can't say
right
that
here.
they've affected the realities there.
Okay, so here, virtual reality in the military. Virtual reality in the military simulating combat training. Discover how virtual reality technology revolutionized military training and combat preparedness, the soldier health and wellness.
Well, I mean, doing train, yeah, I guess that would be because you could go anywhere, and I think there's places where you can go and put the VR headset on, where it's like commercial, like businesses where it's like a zombie apocalypse, and you can shoot the zombies and stuff like that. And you have a whole headset on with like a real weighted. So yeah, it would. But
Okay,
but
get this
but
right here, right here, Juan. Read this. Okay, the military has always been at the forefront of adopting new technologies, and virtual reality is no exception. The early adoption of
1980.
VR technology in the military dates back to the 1980s.
Yikes, that's crazy. Piloting drones equals gaming. Yeah, I think I would say that. Like that's wasn't that a episode of Black Mirror where they were like a video game and it was happening in real life or something? Like one of the older seasons of Black Mirror, not the new one.
I'd have to refresh on it. I don't. No, you flipped it on Black Mirror on me. But I'm sure that there is one. I
Yeah.
know that there's one where there's like a VR type of simulated reality world where they go in where their people are like in prison, and then like they go into their memory and then try and extract information. I think that that's the Christmas episode.
Yeah, again, I would that's like what's that one anime where there's like portals opening up all over the world? Solo Leveling. I don't know if you watch anime or not, but it's like that. And there's like people in society that level up to defeat these dungeons, these interdimensional wormholes that open up throughout the cities and stuff like that. Have you seen that anime yet?
No, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it and say that it's really good.
Yeah, you should check that out. It's kind of sort of like that where you go in. I've heard stories like that as well in the occult where people go into other dimensions and extract information. And I've heard of books coming through portals. And there's a show called uh the hell is it 3 coins? Let me see. Or 30 coins. I'm sorry. 30 coins. You should check this show out, bro. 30 coins. It's an HBO show. It's actually in Spanish, but they got a dub edition, or if you want to read the subtitles. But 30 coins, there's something like that as well, where they extract a book from another dimension, this mirror on the wall, and then they go through the mirror and all this other stuff. But yeah, I've heard stories like that before, and it kind of ties into virtual reality and these quantum computers and all these things, where essentially it's all about the way I've heard it put, that they reach into parallel dimensions and extract information to see if they can use it in this dimension. And I saw recently somebody tagged me in this thing on Twitter where at CERN, I believe it was, they made artificial gold, but they, by clashing atoms together, because you technically could, it's related to alchemy. You technically could make artificial gold, like it is a thing, but it just requires a large amount of energy. Again, like a freaking particle accelerator, if you will, whatever that even is. Like we don't even really know what that is. They tell us it's this thing that spins these atoms around and clashes them together, but they were able to make a certain amount of atoms of gold. But they've been doing this for years now. I mean, it's not the first time they've created gold, I don't think. And it's been known that you can create gold. Now, if the alchemists of old did it way back when in antiquity, and all these stories that they wrote about the philosopher's stone and all this other gay shit, if that was true or not, that's up for debate. But it has been proven with large amounts of energy, you can create artificial gold. So does that make, were the alchemists tapping into something, right? The secret society of people tapping into some unknown energy, or had access to large amounts of energy, how Fulcanelli has talked about before. And I'm sure you've seen these different sites around the world that have sort of the sand, like uh, it turns into glass from how hot it was, almost like nuclear weapons sort of things. It's like,
Yeah.
was that all? Did the ancients have access to nuclear weapons like the Mahabharata and all these different ancient texts that talk about these huge wars, or what the hell is it, right? Like that's something that we've talked about for a long time, that we still don't know what went down in those places, and it's usually tied to civilizations that have kind of disappeared. People, uh, not calcified, but people that are frozen in time. The outlines of people, and it's like, oh, it was just a volcano that went through there. It's like, damn, bro, that's crazy. Like, I'm sure you've seen the pictures of people who are not fossilized. What the hell's the name? They call it something, but you see them like laying together in places, right?
Right,
Uh,
yeah. Where they're almost like mummified.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So again, somebody tagged me on that on Twitter, and I thought it was interesting, but I'm pretty sure they've been doing that since at least, I want to say it goes back quite a few years. CERN created artificial gold. Let's see here.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, okay, well, if you could create artificial gold, then that's what you would sell to the normal everyday people, and then you would just continue to mine like the regular gold. Like, I'm pretty sure that they can also do that with diamonds as well.
Well,
They
look
can
at
create
this. Scientists
artificial diamonds.
accidentally turned lead into gold.
Mm.
They accident for a fraction of a second. This is May 9th, 2025. Somebody tagged me in this, and I was like, I mean, they're just confirming what we knew, right? Now, the history of it, that's what I want to know if it was true or not. Because I think maybe for a second, bro, like the ancients or whoever they were, maybe replicated, or maybe history isn't what we're being told, right? I mean, that's the whole other conversation where it's like, how much of history has been falsified? All of it? Some of it? 25% of it? Like, how much of it is it? And if they actually did do it, because they wrote about it, why would they write about it? And then here you have 2025, um, these CERN scientists kind of sort of proving that, right? That it is possible to turn lead into gold. Or is it all bullshit, right? Can we even believe them that they turn lead into gold? Like, we're taking their word for it. So again, yes, certain scientists have successfully turned lead into gold, though only for a very brief moment using the Large Hadron Collider. This is a scientific first, achieving the ancient alchemist's dream through modern physics. The process involves near miss interactions between lead nuclei, where the intense electromagnetic field of the colliding particles triggers the release of three protons from the lead, transforming it into gold. It's kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I wonder what else they can do.
Yeah, hit them with the freaking space laser. I bet the space lasers could turn anything into gold, bro. So what are they saying, that it can only turn it into gold for a brief amount of time and then it reverts back to iron?
Here, let's read it directly
Yeah.
from the CERN. CERN home.cern. Let's see. Let me share my screen real quick. So we can get this. We got to get the science down, bro. We can't be sharing fake news here. Here we go.
I know the science.
All right. So near miss between high energy lead nuclei at the LHC generate intense electromagnetic fields that can shock out protons and transform lead into fleeting quantities of gold nuclei. So it's probably like at a microscopic level, I'm guessing. In a paper published in a Physical Review Journalist. I wonder how old that paper is, by the way, because usually, you have these stories that take off, they go viral every now and again, but it turns out it was like years old, like the whole the Egypt and the structures underneath the Pyramid of Giza, where they had
Yeah.
talked about that back in 2022 or something, and
Yeah.
now it's
Oh.
popping off.
Mhm.
So transforming the base metal lead into the precious metal gold was a dream of medieval alchemists. And by the way, it was done by Alice. So interesting name for their collider there. Which, damn, this thing looks like a portal to hell.
You got Alice in Wonderland, and then you have Alice from the Resident Evil
Oh,
franchise.
really? That's her name?
Her name was Alice as well in the movies. She wasn't in the actual video games, but in the Resident Evil movies, the main character was named Alice.
This long-standing quest, known as Chrysopoeia, may have been motivated by the observation that dully gray, relatively abundant lead is of a similar density to gold. Which technically they weren't wrong. If things are made of up of all the same building material, which is atoms, technically lead and gold would be made of the same material, technically, right? If we're to believe that, which has long been coveted for its beautiful color and rarity. It was only much later that it became clear that lead and gold are distinct chemical elements and that chemical methods are powerless to transmute one into the other. With the dawn of nuclear physics in the 20th century, it was discovered that heavy elements could transform into others, either naturally by radioactive decay or in the laboratory under a bombardment of neutrons or protons. I have no idea what the fuck any of that means, but we'll take their word for it. Though gold has been artificially produced in this way before, which is what I was saying, it's been done for years now. The ALICE collaboration has now measured the transmutation of lead into gold by a new mechanism involving near-miss collisions between lead nuclei at the Large Hadron Collider. So again, this is just a new method, is what they're saying, right? So it's been done before, which again, I've known about this. Fulcanelli talked about it in the 1920s, bro. You know, he showed up at this dude's house and was like, hey, bro, the ancient alchemists have been doing this for thousands of years. Okay. And then he like pieced out a reality. No one ever saw him again. And then the I think it was the OSS or whatever went out searching for him, this immortal alchemist, because he revealed the Manhattan Project before it was an actual thing. Right. So the government was looking for an immortal alchemist because they were like, who the hell is this guy? Who does he work for? What does he know? And how is he able to know about our secret project before it was even public, about 5 years before it was public? So extremely high energy collisions between lead nuclei at the LHC can create quark gluon plasma, a hot and dense state of matter that is thought to have filled the universe around a millionth of a second after the Big Bang, giving rise to the matter we now know. However, in the far more frequent interactions where the nuclei just miss each other without touching, the intense electromagnetic field surrounding them can induce photon, and photon nucleus interactions that open further avenues of exploration. Right. How do they make the
Oh, I
portals?
completely understand that. I know
Oh, I
everything.
100%. I understand, bro. I understand this thing word for word. How did they make the wormhole in Spider-Man? Do you remember?
In the new Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield?
I think it was it Tobey Maguire? No, I don't think it was Tobey Maguire. I think it
Far
was
From
the
Home or Far Away From Home or whatever?
no, not those, not those. It was with Doc Ock, I want to say. There was one where they made a black hole
Oh, that
in
was Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man
Spite.
2.
That was Tobey Maguire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know how they did that? Because they also did make one in with Miles Morales too, right? That big dude, and they had wasn't it a particle collider as well, where they sent him.
Yes, I do believe that that was a particle collider in the animated ones with Miles Morales, but then they also did a portal thing in No Way Home as well, with where they brought back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire for the third Spider-Man iteration with Tom Holland.
Oh, that's why again, Spider-Man is Freemasonic. It's very the way I've come to understand, and what's interesting about like the occult. One thing that I saw one time, and I forgot who it was. I wanted to say it's Typhonian OTO, where they right no what's the whole thing at Bohemian Grove? No weaving spiders welcome. Right? Is that what their sign says? Something along those lines, right? Spiders. And what's interesting, I heard one time before, and I can't remember where, but the way I've come to understand it, because I think the clown from it also becomes a spider at one point. But the way I've come to understand the occult is that these occultists, right, they want to become a spider to navigate essentially from the outside of reality or some shit. They want to crawl out and be behind, which would make sense with alchemy and all these other things because it's about stepping outside of space and time and manipulating reality from a different vantage point. Like that's the secret of alchemy. Like that's
Well,
what they want to do.
you know about the like technological spiders, right? Like where this is a very old conspiracy theory, but I remember like, I don't know, mid 2000s, there was this guy that was doing the rounds on everyone's shows during that time, and he was talking about how he worked at one of largest the first largest, like, radio transmitters in the world, and it was, like, one of the first ones, and whenever he was working there, like, he would see these, like, weird technological, like, spiders. Like,
What?
and yeah, like, weird, like, giant like, what you would imagine if you went to Australia, you know, how big those like, probably even bigger, but he was like, "Yeah, I would just, like, I would be working here, and then I'd be, like, opening up panels, and I would be seeing, like, these giant technological spiders." Now, I don't know if he might have been on some sort of
Dude was on some shit, bro.
hallucinogenic drugs or something, but, I think that I mean, that's kind of interesting, right? Like, what if they are, like, this weird, like, interdimensional creature that comes through our technology? I mean, dude, I'm almost convinced that something has given us the technology that we're using right now. I was talking to Jay Weidner about this the other day on my show. Like, you know, when we go back through all the people that have done like this, you know, channeling of entities, like you got John D and Edward Kelly channeling the Enochian angels, like them giving them information. And if you look back through all this history of like channeling, and then like you see that they're communicating with some kind of entity, and then what if that entity is giving them the information in order to
Yeah.
build the habitat for these entities to live in our reality? And what if the technology that we're using is that like shelling casing, right? The internet is the way for these entities to
The
inhabit.
World Wide Web. Yeah.
Web, yes.
But you know who created the internet, right?
No, I do not.
CERN, bro. CERN
CERN?
created the internet.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh my god. CERN created the internet to allegedly share information between scientists. Like that's their whole thing. But yes, CERN did create it. Now, what's interesting about Spider-Man, right? And the Spideyverse and all these different things. And by the way, I think Nick Cage is coming out with a Spider Noir series here soon, Daddy Nick Cage, because again, another I'm not, I don't know if he is a Mason or not, but a lot of his movies and his works are pro Masonic. Like they have a lot of iconography and themes related to Freemasonry. And also he does have an interest in the occult, right? That's confirmed. That's not like, oh, no, no, I've confirmed this personally. Like his son grew up reading his daddy's books about, original Eliphas Levi, original Aleister Crowley, like originals. Okay, this is coming directly from the mouth of Weston Cage, who I did an interview with, and he confirmed it, right? So they are interested in the occult. Now, what's
Don't you be
interesting about
talking bad about Daddy Cage now,
I'm
man.
not I'm not I'm
Don't you be
not
talking bad about Daddy Cage.
mm-mm, I'm not, but what I'm saying is, right, what's interesting about the Spideyverse is that the Spider-Men. Now that's allegorical for let's maybe it is real, bro. Right? We can get a little schizo on this podcast. Maybe it is all real. Maybe there is interdimensional spider alien things that channel information down to people, whatever, who knows, right? But let's say it's allegorical for like maybe hey, the Masons rule reality or some gay secret society somewhere, right? And that's what they use these cartoons and movies for. But it's interesting that the Spideyverse, they quite literally control reality. Like that's the whole premise of the movie, where they have this headquarter where they can go into any timeline and switch it up. And then what? One of them doesn't want, the other one to go back in time. Bless you. It's the spider entities, bro. That's what they're doing to you. They're making you sneeze. So in the movie, right, they have like this whole debacle where one of the main Spider-Man, like the guy that runs everything, doesn't want the other one in the club and blah, blah, blah. So they go back and forth. The point being is that they have access to all dimensions. Maybe how you're saying this is like an allegory for something much more sinister, or how you're saying, the World Wide Web, where what do you get from the World Wide Web? You get information. And maybe perhaps, dude, like, you talked about John D. and Edward Kelly, maybe technology has I'm going to go crazy here, bro. What if, because let's be honest for 1 second. All right. I don't know how my Wi-Fi works. I don't know how I'm able to talk to you right now through the internet. You get what I'm saying? Like, what if, check this out. What if the internet has
I
always
don't either.
existed, bro? What if it's always existed and we just figured out the technology to access it? But dudes like John D. and Edward Kelly and other people who were channeling demons through their asshole, like, what if they were able to tap into it in some sort of way to tap into the mainframe, right? The OG cloud. Moses tapped into the OG cloud. He had the first tablet, right? It came down with the tablets, and the tablets did what? Like, they established law and order, right? It's like the first, he tapped in, had a download, at 0.5 megabytes per second or whatever it was at that time. And he got a download from the source and came back with these tablets and was like, yo, these tablets, they were from the man upstairs, and this is what we have to do. And like, that shaped society at that point in time.
I 100%. I'm convinced at this moment that there's something to all of that. And then you even have like Marina Orsinik during World War II. Now you can believe her story or not believe her story. She might be a completely 100% fictitious
Who?
person. Marina Orsinik from World
Who's
War
that?
II was channeling these entities that told her how to build a freaking UFO, like an
How about the
anti-ground.
hot chick? The hot chick? Orsinik?
Yeah, just type in Marina Orsinik. And I think she was channeling these entities called Aldebarans.
Orsinik? Vranich?
Orsin Orsinik.
How do you spell it?
Yeah, you're
Come on, dude. You gotta throw me a bone, bro.
um,
Marina?
Maria Maria Orsinik. I don't know. I don't even know how to spell Orsinik. You're
Oh,
asking the wrong guy.
here we go. Maria Orsic. Come on, dude.
Come on,
This
bro.
bitch.
You not
Yes.
even know who she is, dude. She's a staple of the conspiracy community, bro. Come on, dude.
The Real
But anyway,
Society.
she was supposedly channeling these entities called the Aldebarans, right? And they were giving her this information on how to build like this. I mean, and this is according to, theorists and conspiracy theorists. So you can't take it for, 100% absolute truth. And I'm not trying to pass it off as 100% truth, right? But they were giving her this information to figure out how to build these craft, like to essentially escape like Earth and go wherever to wherever and do whatever, right? And then that's how apparently like Hitler then got a hold of it, found out that what she was doing, and then like took over the operation, and then that's how we get the Nazi bell, the Glocke bell technology, and then we get all those Nazis from World War II, and then we start building our space program, right? But it's just so interesting, these people throughout history that have supposedly been channeling these entities. It only makes sense that they would be. I mean, how many? There's been several people that's like had strange dreams, right, or seen it in a vision, or supposedly channeled something, and then like goes out and like creates stuff. Like they give them information, and then they just create things. Okay, so it's not out of the realm of possibility in my mind that some of these entities are giving us information in order for us to build something for them here, because they aren't physical entities. Okay, they're consciousness entities, they're invisible entities to the naked eye, but they need something that they can manifest inside of. Okay, so then we get this internet, this cage, this world wide web, the interweb, if you will, and that's where these entities inhabit. And just like you were mentioning, what's on the internet? It's nothing but information. And what were these entities supposedly giving all these people that were channeling these things, regardless if you believe that they were actually channeling or not? They're giving them information.
Mm-hmm. You
I don't know.
think
In my mind, I think that there's something to that. And then when you look at like these substances and these ayahuasca, DMT, and all that, and then what are people communicating with whenever they do those?
yeah.
Like a portal. That's definitely a portal into the mind. I mean, you know, I don't know. It makes sense to me, and I think there's definitely something to it. I mean, it's either that or we just randomly stumbled across. We had the most technological innovations since for the past 70 years. We've had the most technological innovations in the past, ever in human history, ever. And we just discovered it on our own.
Yeah, no. So, you think Kanye West is tapping into the Vril, bro? Like, what do you think he's tapping into right now? Because he's putting out a lot of weird shit. What do you think? Do you think he's getting a download from somewhere? Has he talked about any of that stuff? Because he's like a prime candidate for the McUltra stuff. Where you remember when he dyed his hair blonde and came out like Maga, and that was like super bizarre, like the way he was acting, almost like he wasn't maybe he wasn't a clone, or maybe he was, like, who knows, right? But it's interesting that a lot of these celebrities as well, even like Philip K. Dick, because I'm actually going to the dentist on Friday. A lot of these guys start getting downloads when they go to the dentist. And I remember that for through the wire, Kanye West, he did have like whole reconstructive surgery on his like whole jaw at one point where they had to have it wired shut. And so maybe, right, maybe they implanted something. Like the whole conspiracy is that some of these implants or the dental work that they do can lead them, if not done on purpose, or at least the effect of it is to have these downloads, right? Because don't they talk about like 5G and stuff like that, almost like a web of some sorts, right? What are the chances that you could pick up some interference if you were to have like, because there's been people who have talked about that. I'm sure due to like people in the UFO community where they get like a dental implant and they're having like frequencies beamed into their heads.
Yeah, the first time that I heard of this was with Raven and Top Lobster from the Nephilim Death Squad. That was on my show. They were talking about these implants that they would, and Lucille Ball apparently had this happen to her where she got a dental implant and then she started picking up radio frequencies from a Japanese insurgency. And
What's
she
the
alerted the military, and then the military stopped the Japanese insurgency because of the dental implant Lucille Ball had that picked up these frequencies. So, I mean, 100%, I think that that's a thing, but I don't think that they do that because that was like the filling that was like silver filling. Like
yeah.
whenever you go get a cavity removed, and then they would put the silver filling in there. That supposedly connects to like brings in like you can pick up radio frequencies to the point that you think that you're hearing like voices, which is also a way to induce like schizophrenia, right? Like if that were to happen to you and you didn't know what it was and you didn't know that you were picking up some kind of radio frequency, it would probably drive you insane, right? And then you would just like kind of go out of your mind. So I think it's like a dual use type of thing, right? Where they're like, okay, well, let's put these in people's heads, in their teeth. And then we'll in turn create all of these schizophrenic people. So then that we can, make money off of in the future. I mean, I don't know.
That's entirely possible as well. But think about it, right? So you're putting precious metals into someone's head. Essentially, like you're implanting it into their head, into their bone, which is a tooth. Is a tooth bone? Is it considered a bone? I think so, right? Anyways, part of the jaw, but think about that. So you're putting precious metals into someone's, you're embedding it into their skull. Hardware is used to tap into the mainframe and all these other things, right? Hardware to tap into the internet, hardware to tap into the phone lines and all this other stuff. So it would make a lot of sense. Now, what's interesting about that is when it starts to get prophetic, when you have guys like Philip K. Dick talking about the pink light and the zebra and all this other stuff, and end times and uh, these interdimensional beings telling them sort of things. Has the Do we know of the guy from what's that? His dad, Chris, the Bledsoe. Has he had any dental work done? Do we know anything about that?
I don't know, but
Have you interviewed him?
he's old enough to have had those
Old ones, yeah.
things. Yeah.
Have you interviewed him?
No, I have not. I don't want to mess around with him.
Can you say why or no? You think it's bullshit?
Well, I think that like if you do anything to ask them any kind of hard questions and then they can't answer, their entire group of people will just come after you.
Oh wow, okay. So it's a cult. Are they gonna come
I-
after me for saying that?
No, because we're not like I don't like
Popular?
have him on. Yeah, well, that too. Yeah, we're not big enough to make that big of an impact
Yeah.
on him. So no, I think we'll be safe.
Well, again, I think that you do bring up a good point, and I'm sure I've seen that. And people talk about, these implants that they receive from. I think when they get abducted, right? Is that usually sometimes they have these weird things in their bodies when they get abducted?
Well, that's what John Mack, I think. I think he was one of the people that investigated a lot of the implants, but like dental, yeah, some had like dental. Well, a lot of them were up their nose. Like some of the original ones were like directly like in their nasal cavity,
Whoa.
and
Yeah.
some under the skin. So, but majority of them in the beginning was like up inside their nasal cavity. And then, what do you think of whenever they do the COVID test, bro?
Oh God. They were getting alien implants, bro. Or were they looking for something? Is that what you're getting at?
They were implanting us with a chip, bro. That's the only explanation.
I wonder
It's
it
the
burned
only
so much.
explanation. This
It
is
burned, right?
schizospiracy, bro. We can go as crazy as we want.
It burned for me. Like I felt like it burned a lot. Did it burn for anybody else who got those? Like I got it once or twice, I think.
I don't
It
know.
burned, right?
I never did it, so I don't know what it's like.
Did it burn for anybody else? Can anyone can anyone confirm that?
But if you remember in the beginning, dude, they were literally jamming those freaking things up in the kids' noses, bro. Like just wrecking up into their nose.
Yeah, bro, like way back in there to where it was gagging people, like, and then they're like, "Oh no, actually, all you have to do is a little bit." Oh man, made
But
me take the test. They
someone
made me take the test in jail. What'd you do, bro? Yes, it was uncomfortable. A burn for me. All right, so it wasn't just me. All right, it was like, yeah, I was in jail and they made me do it.
5 Leaf Clover gifted your channel 5
Appreciate that.
one-on-one media memberships.
He's a real one.
And he is also a member. But I told people on my channel if they send in super chats on my show that you'll do a little song and dance for them.
No, I won't.
Yes, you will. If anyone sends in super chats, Juan will do a little song and dance for you. I promise. So send in those super chats. Let's get 10 of those bad boys so Juan can keep dancing for the rest of the show.
Look at this guy. I have a titanium spine and I don't pick up anything. I mean,
Well, it might be that's not the right technology.
yeah. You weren't tuned into the right frequency.
Could be. You're a good dude, Rob Oz. Thank you. Yeah.
Robo Z.
Oh, is that how he says? I've been calling him Rob Oz.
Has anyone been having crazy lucid dreams? I've had a couple of dreams recently that, because I had been working on kind of sort of interacting in my dreams a little bit, right? Ever since I had the four-wheeler dream that I had, where I was having this issue with this four-wheeler I bought my son's, and we couldn't get it fixed. But then I had a dream that I fixed it in the dream, but I couldn't remember what I did in the dream to do it in real life to test it out. And I've been having these dreams where I'm like discovering things, places, and I've been learning to read in my dream, right? It sounds crazy. Like, just stick with me. Have you ever tried reading in a dream before?
Not that I know of.
So when you try and read in a dream, it like changes, right? Like it almost morphs into something else. And I don't know if it's like morphing into alien language, but sometimes when you look at something, then go back, look at it again, it's different. And I recently had this dream where uh it was telling me like about this place somewhere, and I remember in the dream like going, hey, if dreams are real or not, like I want to prove if it's bullshit or not. And I've had a couple of dreams where I've been told something and I wake up and try and remember what it was, but usually I'm not ever able to find what's being referenced in the dream. So is it gibberish or is it an actual thing? And one of the latest ones that I had was a place in like I don't know, it's like Tennessee or some shit. It was like some weird place. In the dream, I guess I had moved there or something. And when I woke up, I couldn't for the life of me remember what the place of the name, the name of the place was, because every time I would go back and read the paper in the dream, it would change. Right. So it went from like something ridge to then like something else. And I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to remember it. So when I wake up, I can Google it to see if it's an actual place, because then like that would prove to me that dreams hold actual information. But whenever I do come back, almost like having a trip, you ever have a trip and you're like, I can use this information, and then you come out of the trip and you don't remember anything of the information that you could. I feel like that's what DMT is for a lot of people, where they have like this breakthrough, right? A lot of people talk about blasting off and how DMT showed them the fabric of reality. Why don't you apply that information in reality, like in real life? You get what I'm saying? Like use that information that these entities or these leprechauns or these elves reveal to you and apply it in the real world. But it's usually always like, oh, it was this crazy thing, but I can't describe it. I can't remember what it was. Like, oh, it's just too crazy for. If you think of like, we talked earlier about quantum computers and extracting information from parallel dimensions. The way I've come to understand it's like they sift through the information that's useful in this dimension. So do you have to get a few downloads in before you can actually find something of use, because you're just tapping into all these other realms? Maybe some of this information that you picked up was good in another reality, just not this one. You get what I'm saying? Like, what if you're just like sifting through all the frequencies in the radio stations, and you're just you got to find the right one. You're still picking up residual stuff. It's just doesn't work in yours. Like you can't use two different programming codes, languages. The language won't transfer over, right? C++ is different than JavaScript, et cetera, et cetera. They all have their own set of languages, almost like if information has its own set of dimensions, which is the whole point of CERN. Essentially, they're trying to, right, the heart, the God particle, whatever it is. It's essentially, if they are able to find one with a different mass, they've essentially tapped into, the Higgs boson. It has a different weight in the dimension it corresponds to. And if you find one with a different weight than the one that corresponds to your dimension, you've tapped into another realm. That's the way I understood it. Unless I am fucking retarded. So that could also be, and I could be interpreting it wrong, but that's the way I've understood it.
It makes sense that our thoughts and our, like, we're in this infinite data field of like information, and we are like the tuning fork of that information, and wherever we turn the knob, it depends on what frequency we tap into. It's getting super new agey here, but I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Turn your knob to tune in.
Turn the knob, like if you're trying to tune into the right radio frequency on like a radio or whatever in your car. I don't even know if anyone listens to the radio in their car anymore, but a handheld radio or whatever, where you have to tune the station to get the clear voice in. Maybe it's something like that where you have to like tune it to get the correct information, to get the right information. And then what you do with that information is kind of up to you. But I did always find that interesting that people that have these hallucinogenic trips, or some people don't think that they're hallucinogenic, but just trips in general on some kind of psychedelic substance, they don't remember it. It's like they get all the information, then they come back, and then it's like gone. They don't remember anything that happened. They might be able to remember as like right whenever they get back, but for an extended period of time, they don't. It's almost like this reality kind of like wipes information. Like from us, and then that gets into also like reincarnation and reintardation. I call it reintardation. I think I came back and things went a little weird and I got half tarded, so I got reintardated.
Have
But
you done DMT?
yes, I have.
What was that like?
It was 5-bufo DMT, so it was
Oh,
like a really strong version of DMT, and it was not fun.
did you contort and like roll around and like foam at the mouth on the ground? Like, did anybody tell you to do that?
No, as soon as I did it, I was immediately in like this like all white room, like just completely pitch white. But I supposedly didn't let go of like this reality, so I was kind of stuck in like this luminal, this in between place.
Liminal.
Like
Yeah.
how they, that's how they explained it to me, is that I didn't let go and I was supposed to let go in order to blast off out of my body, but instead I got stuck in this white room, sort of like the Matrix.
The thing about 5-MeO, what scares me the most about that one in particular. So I've had a friend of mine who did that. I have never done DMT, and what he tells me is that the 5-MeO in particular, if you're not careful, you can have a sort of like reactivation of it later on, and it'll come up whenever wherever you are. So the way he explained it to me was, you do it wherever it is, and usually people like contort and like roll on the ground and like just like look all crazy, right? Because again, they're like they don't have control over their body, and then they come back and they're like, what the hell is going on? Like some people can get hurt, right? They're just rolling around everywhere, and they could drown if they're next to like a river or something. Where these places usually where you do it. And he told me that you can have a reactivation after, and what would reactivate it for him, whatever that even means, was smoking cannabis sometime after. If he waited like 2 weeks after and smoked, he would have like this crazy experience, and apparently it's like a residual effect of the 5-MeO in particular. But think about it, bro. You did 5-MeO, you smoked the secretion of a frog. Does that make you feel any sort of way? Like, that's rock bottom, bro. You smoked the secretions of a frog that they aggravated enough to roll on like a piece of glass, right? The secretions are on there. Poor frog, by the way. They just threw him back. Is it like frog jizz? Like, no, right? It doesn't come from his dick, so it's not like frog jizz, but it's from his skin. That's kind of gross, bro. You smoked frog jizz.
Yeah, I kind of looked. It was like in a rock. It was like a white rock.
You do know how they extract it, right? I'm sure you've done your research. Because that's the one that changed, I think, Mike
Yeah,
Tyson's
bro,
life.
but I was in the early versions of my like trying to figure all this shit out. Like this was like 7 years ago whenever I did it. And I
Oh
was
man.
trying to just like get into like the whole thing. And then everyone was like, "Oh, you gotta do DMT, bro. You gotta do it. It's what you have to do it. You're gonna feel amazing. It's gonna be great." And then I did it and it was like a horrible experience and I'm never gonna do it again.
Well, I think that Rogan is really to blame for that one because, to be honest, I mean, Rogan is one of the main people who got me interested into psychedelics because think about it, like you don't see that dimension when you're sober, and then as soon as you take this thing that grows from the ground or comes from a frog somewhere, depending on which one you do, but even then you could still make the other version from like regular household items that you could like buy at Home Depot or something, from what I've been told, right? And like you don't see things when you're not on it. You ingest these things and boom, you're in a different reality. That to me is like super crazy because think about it, right? I talk about a lot about the occult, John D, aliens, demons, and all this other stuff, but I can't prove any of that to you, right? Like I can't prove the homunculus is real to you. I can talk to you about it, about stories of people documenting it and allegedly making it and blah blah blah. But can I make a homunculus? I mean, I haven't ever tried, but probably, right? Uh, to prove the existence. Now, when it comes to psychedelics, it's like you do it and you experience a change in real time, right? I mean, depending on which one you do, if you do like uh, psilocybin or something, it's not immediate, but you get what I'm saying, that it's an actual change that you can bring forth upon yourself versus, hey, I'm reading about turning lead into gold. These alchemists, were they onto it or not? Right? Like we can ponder and think about that all we want, but here's this other thing that will like manipulate your reality. You take it and you see shit that you wouldn't otherwise see unless you were on. That to me, bro, is like the most interesting thing about psychedelics, the way that the brain works and where you're able to see things that are they there all the time and you're just not, how you're saying, we're talking about frequencies and things, and you can tap into that frequency when you ingest the substance. Are they always there? Like, how does that work? But it was Rogan, I think, in my opinion, that really got me deep into the psychedelic, topic and wanting to do it. And especially, let's say that he is like a controlled op, right? Let's say he is a CIA asset, which at this point, let's be honest, when you have that much influence, and I don't like the whole thing that goes on nowadays in like the truther community where it's like, if somebody gets more downloads and views than you, oh, they're an agent, right? Like that's the main thing. The Spider-Man meme, right? Ironically, where they're all pointing at each other. That's how it is in the truther sphere, where they're like, he gets more downloads than me. He's an agent, right? It's like I don't think
My
that.
information is so much better, but he's getting way more views than me.
Yeah, but think about it. If media, like mainstream media, which Rogan is mainstream, is controlled, you don't think that they would probably control Rogan at one point, like once you get big enough? I mean, we hear about this shit all the time,
I
right?
think that they've definitely tried, and I think maybe in like toward like 2017 up until like 2020 and a little bit into 2020, I think he was really reserved on like a lot of like theories. I remember listening to.
He was way more open-minded back in my opinion.
I don't think so. I think that he was
No?
less. I think that he was less because I remember after 2020 happening, he just recently moved to Texas and then he built that new studio, right? That looked like a container that was all red and everyone was really pissed off because they removed
Yes.
the curtain. They got rid of the curtain. One of the first shows that he did there was with this guy that was literally talking about how the new money system was going to work. Like all of it, how the like how they're going to connect the real ID to like all the stuff. You're not going to be able to travel unless you have a real ID, which we're seeing that right now. Like you can't travel domestically now if you don't have a real ID, which is just mind blowing, right? I don't remember the guy's name, but he was talking about how the new financial digital backed currency was going to work, how it was going to be, and this super interesting stuff. And Rogan did not want to talk about it. He just
Really?
started going off about cars. He was like, "Oh, look at this car. This car, you're deficient." And then it got to the point where the guy was like, he literally said this. He said, "I can tell Rogan that you don't want to talk about this right now, and we don't have to talk about it." He was, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" But I think
Oh,
now
shit.
he's gotten more. I don't know. I think that they've definitely tried, but I think that he is probably his own because he claims that it's just him and Jamie. I don't
That's
know.
bullshit.
I don't have a reason to not believe him.
I think that's bullshit, bro. Come on. Like, if you look at any of these other comedians, which I think comedians now is the new like occultist sort of, secret society, right? I want to do a whole thing on that. Like, I want to, how the occult was tied into intelligence, but then it turned into its own thing because some people believed that it was real. Like that. That's my opinion, and I think it's shifted to comedy, where you can set up a comedy club in whatever city and state you want, and all the cool people hang out there. It's a different form of a secret society. It's just secret societies can't be secret anymore because we have the fucking internet, right? So you can look up quite literally any piece of information you want. So it doesn't serve you any good to be a part of a secret society because it's not secret anymore. We know everything that is. So that's why if you look at the numbers of Freemasonry, they're like tanking, bro. They're losing people year after year after year because people are realizing, because a lot of people join those places to extract some sort of information, right? Like,
Well, look at Scientology now, bro. Scientology has just gone off the rails. Their membership is completely down. What's that? Don't they own like an entire downtown part of Florida, bro?
St.
And
Pete,
like
yeah.
no one's there. No one is in any of the buildings. There's not any businesses in
A
any of the buildings.
government operation, bro. 100%. Like, wasn't L. Ron Hubbard part of the Navy? Like, wasn't he in? Wasn't he in the Navy, or was he just LARPing? Because he had like a boat and all that stuff. And then think about that. He had a boat. Old Jeffrey probably had a boat too, right? A lot of these guys probably have boats, right? Bezos and all these other guys have boats. Like, think about that. Maybe that it is some sort of a tax-free government operation to where they can launder money, one in one way, out the other. Because think about it. Who the fuck is joining science? Like, who is falling for that shit nowadays?
I
Like, it's
know.
mainstream that it's bullshit. Like, do people not read? Like, do you live in a bubble where you can't? Those people can't be real people. Maybe again, maybe they are real people, not like that they're NPCs, but not real people in the sense that they're doing a job that they're being appointed to, and no one's actually joining. Right? It's just employees if you really think about it. Like, it can't be. Those people can't be real. Like, I've seen videos of them, and I was gonna do a documentary on Scientology. One of the people who is like one of the main guys that exposes it. We were gonna go to downtown St. Pete and record, because usually when you start recording around their buildings, they start following you. So we were gonna record it on iPhones and stuff and talk to this guy, because this guy was in it and he's like now out of it and exposing it. But we never got around to doing that. But it's like, who's actually believing the bullshit that they feed them? Now, again, you've talked about cults and stuff like that. It's easier said than done, where somebody can fall for something, right? And people get brainwashed. That's the most fascinating part that I find about when it comes to cults and stuff, where people start to believe this stuff, like they start to live it. Is it Stockholm syndrome, where they don't know what else to do and they kind of just let it? They're just procrastinators and they just stay in it and like, oh well, I know it's bullshit, but I got to stay here. And that's the most interesting part, because it's like you can literally tell somebody a string of words put together in the right sequence to make them do whatever you want. That's wild, bro. There's a string of words that'll make you, writerly buy this car, for example, or whatever it is, or buy anything. Like, somebody can convince you to do something, even if you're like, I don't want to do that. And they start talking like, oh, this and that. You're like, you know what? That makes sense. And then you just buy it. That's crazy. Like, that's the occult to me. Like, being able to convince somebody about something, like, that's a superpower. Like being a good salesman. That to me is like if I had any if I could wish for any superpower, it would be that. Be a great salesman. 'Cause you can do anything. Make a ton of money selling shit to people. That's
You
it.
have the entire world convinced that homunculuses were real, one.
No, I would spend it on something like legitimate, not a fucking homunculus. I try to, not make it my life's work to convince people that the homunculus is real. But you get what I'm saying. Like, it's interesting, right? The way the mind works with psychedelics or otherwise, or with a dental
Well,
implant or a titanium spine. It's interesting.
that's why a lot of these cults and a lot of these organizations get people from other countries. That's why they do mission work, right? That's why they travel to Guatemala, wherever, and get these people, then fly them back, and then they give them a place to live.
Poor
Yeah.
bastards.
They're like, okay, well, if you join our religion, you swear fealty to the Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard, then we're going to give you a place to, like, your job is also going to be connected to this religion. That's what a lot of people in Scientology talk about, is that their job, their livelihood, their place that they live was all connected to Scientology. So it
Mm,
was a very, you couldn't really get out of it because they owned everything. They owned the business, they owned the housing. So it made it really difficult for people to leave. But before we roll out, let's do some news stuff here, because we got a lot of news stuff to go over here. We got Joe Biden. He has prostate
Has
cancer.
cancer. No, he doesn't. Sorry.
Yep. Biden diagnosed with aggressive form of prostate cancer. This is from CNN.
Who really gives a fuck though?
Well, I mean, it's sad, bro. Aren't you sad? Anybody that's got cancer is it's sad, bro. Sad, bro. What are you, heartless?
No, I'm
What?
not heartless. I'm not heartless against people who have cancer, but Why is this mainstream news? Is like my main concern. Like, why is this a main thing? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the only thing that I can think of is that if how long did he know that he had cancer, right? And if he would have stayed in the
Yeah.
race to be president, he could be president right now, currently, and have prostate cancer and be dying.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Maybe that's why they canceled, right?
Yeah, that could have been the reason that he stepped down. But old Kamal in there. Next news story is Chris Brown got arrested in Manchester, UK. Rapper allegedly attacked a producer in 2023 in London, and then he got arrested for assault here recently. He probably it might turn out that he uh, did indeed beat Rihanna.
I mean, we
Which
don't
I
know
think
what
he
was said, bro. All right, you got to hear both sides of the story. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, next is a Fox News article. Video shows 10 inmates who escaped from jail in New Orleans as manhunt continues. So we had, but this is so weird though, because some reports of this say that there were 11 people that escaped
Yeah.
the jail in New Orleans, and this one is saying 10. They can't get their reporting right, one.
Oh.
The inconsistency of 10 and 11 inmates. Which is it? Which is it? Is it 10 or 11? But also at that exact same time, on this exact same day, the largest antebellum mansion in the South, built in 1859 with 165 rooms, burns to the ground.
What's antebellum? Is that a style of mansion?
The largest pre-Civil War mansion in all of the American South burned to the ground as a devastating fire ripped through the historic wooden structure built nearly 200 years ago.
I'm a Civil War denier, bro. So I don't think it happened.
Gettysburg is all fake.
Yeah. You can
Some people,
deny the Civil War. You can't deny the other one, though.
that's what some people believe, though. They believe that all of the headstones in Gettysburg is all fake,
Again,
fake
I think
headstone.
that everyone posed and they just took those pictures or paintings or whatever they are. I don't think it really did happen.
Well, Juan, this right here may be the cause of the 10 or 11 people who escaped from the jail in New Orleans and the fire that broke out that destroyed the largest mansion in the South.
Where in the South, though? Is it the same city or?
Annabelle Doll sparks panic as she goes on tour, despite paranormal experts saying that she should never be moved.
Oh God.
So they took the Annabelle Doll on tour. They took it to New Orleans. The
Oh,
exact same day, these
bro,
inmates
shut
escaped from
up.
jail. The fire broke out.
Where is that mansion though? Where is it? Is it in New Orleans or where is it in the South?
That's fine. That's
It's in
fine.
Is it
Louisiana.
Louisiana?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That is interesting.
Yeah.
I see what you did
So
there. Okay. All right.
Annabelle Doll is responsible. I 100% believe. This is Ryan Bell from Paranormal State. The Annabelle doll was moved, and Ed and Lorraine Warren said that the doll was never supposed to be removed from the encasing at the museum, and it was moved. And this is Ed and Lorraine Warren,
Weren't they
demonologist.
fakes?
Huh?
Weren't they fakes? Like, didn't somebody expose them, like for being frauds?
I don't know. I don't know. I
He's
never.
like a proclaimed demonologist, isn't he? Or was? Is he dead now?
Yeah, they're both dead.
Yeah, I think that's the one that took the picture of the walking boy ghost or something or other, like on a staircase.
Yeah, and they also had the one in where the girl was floating above the bed that he took pictures of, but it could have
Hmm.
been like she was just jumping up in the air and then he snapped the photo really quickly.
Yeah, yeah, they had a reputation. Yeah, I could have sworn that they, I've seen right that they were fakes or whatever, like that they were frauds. Um, yeah, let me know when you're done with that. I got one more for you too, bro. I want to pull my screen
Okay,
up.
well, we got more.
We
We
got
got
more.
more. We got more, Juan. We got more because two dead after a ship strikes Brooklyn Bridge, snapping mast and injuring crew members. Okay, so this boat. How many more boats are going to hit bridges, bro? Like, what is going on with this transportation stuff, bro? Like, it's just going all over the place. We just had that boat that hit the bridge. Like, what, at the beginning of the year? Wasn't there a boat that just hit one of the bridges in New York that they said that it was on like automation or whatever, and it just ran into the bridge? You remember that?
Yeah, I mean there was a ton of them last year. No, that was like a big thing in the conspiracy circle. The bridges are going down, and the boats and everything. People are making a big deal about it. But I did see this one. That was crazy.
Yeah, bro. Bridges and bridges. And then we also have birds. We have exploding birds.
And this is all because of the doll, right? Like you've
All
made
because
the
of the
connection.
doll.
It's all. Does the gematria check out? Like, have you done the numbers? Have you ran the numbers?
I have not ran the numbers yet, but I'm sure that I will find that it all correlates. Birds keep exploding in California, and nobody knows why. Okay, we got exploding birds. Spontaneously combusting birds. By all accounts, Richmond, California is a pretty chill Bay Area suburb, but then residents started finding exploding birds in their yards. Okay, birds aren't real, they are drones.
100%, bro. That's what a lot of. So here's the thing, right? Because I get a lot of messages whenever I talk about the birds being fake. Some birds are real. Some. There are some that are real, and there are some that are not. Again, you're gonna, oh, I've eaten pigeon or I've eaten whatever. Or I've gone bird hunting. Yeah, you've gotten some of the real ones, but some are fake. Some are government assets. Look at this. They're exploding in California, bro. That's
They're
crazy.
exploding birds, dude. We never seen anything like this. But residents have been finding dead birds scattered across their yards, with several reportedly exploding in midair. There have been 13 exploded birds found so far. Security cam footage even caught one poor bird plummeting from a power line right after a loud pop.
That's actually wild, bro. Uh, that's bizarre. Like that, and it's all because of them moving the doll. But it makes sense.
Yep. And also from them removing the doll, we're also getting a remake of Holes, but the genders are going to be flipped in the Holes reboot.
I mean, it doesn't make a difference in the story, right? But here is the woke shit going on with these companies. Like, it doesn't change. Again, it doesn't change the story. It can still be the story. Whatever. I actually like the movie Holes. It's one of my favorite movies. So
It is a classic, bro. I freaking love Holes. But when is Hollywood going to realize that this gender shit is not what people want to see? But they keep pushing it. They keep pushing it and they keep shoving it down our throats. And there's
yep.
no other reason other than it's an agenda. And that eventually they're hoping and praying and wanting people to cave into this garbage, right? They think that if they just throw enough of it at us all the time, 24/7, that we're eventually just going to give in. And
Mm-hmm.
that everyone unanimously is finally going to be like, oh, yes, yes, I want more of it. Give me more gay shit.
More gay shit. I've actually turned off movies because of like the woke shit and like legitimately because sometimes they add things that mean nothing to the story, like at all. Like they've even done that with Gundam, like the anime Gundam. Like they have a whole Gundam that is she's like a lesbian or whatever. It's like it does nothing for the story, like whatsoever. Again, whatever. It's a character, like you can sit through it, but I have turned things off because they put some stuff in it. I know people were freaking out because of The Last of Us. Recently, they had an episode where the girl was like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna be a dad now." It's like, all right, what does that add to the story? You know what I'm saying? Like,
It
what?
doesn't, and they completely ruined that entire show, bro. That show could have gone down as one of the greatest shows.
The first season, I was like, "Oh, the couples, like the dudes, whatever. I could deal with that. Like, it is what it is." And this new stuff, it's like, come on, man. Like, when are you gonna stop? Like, again, it
They
adds
made
nothing
the
to the story.
entire story about the love relationship between the two girls. Like that's
Yeah.
what the entire show hinges on. It makes zero sense to do it, especially when you just killed your main character in the second episode of the freaking season that everybody loved. And then instead of making it about the revenge story of Ellie getting revenge for Joel going to Washington, they make it all about the relationship between her and Dina. So it's essentially a vacation for them, and they don't talk about they don't even hardly mention Joel or what they're even there to do. It's a lesbian vacation, which I don't care. If you're gay and you want to put gay shit in your show, I don't care as long as it serves the story.
Mhm.
Okay, but you can't make the entire focus of the show about that and expect to hold your audience. It's just not going to work. And it's proven because the numbers of The Last of Us have gone down 50% since season 2. And they're just dropping off a freaking cliff. And people are now, like the writers are now realizing that the people that had a problem with the second game also have a problem with the second season. So it has everything to do with the writing. The only way that they could have fixed it is if they would have made Ellie a badass and going on a rampage and have anger. But instead she's all happy go lucky. They're laughing, they're doing whatever on this like vacation to get revenge for Joel. And it doesn't make any sense. There's no through line story, and it's garbage, dude. I freaking hate it.
Yeah, they did that with Severance too. I mean, the two dudes, right, like that.
Yeah, but I could look past that because
Me too.
the show wasn't about that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, dude. What do you got? What do you got for us?
I got some Spanish. Pull my screen. Pull up my screen, dude. We can sign off with this freaking masterpiece. This guy right here. This is it.
Yeah, is this a new one?
It's the latest one. It's the latest one, bro.
Yes, I saw this. I meant to bring it up too. Oh my god, I saw it. Yes.
All right, yeah, we can start. This is what we live for here. Let me know if you can hear this.
This is Frank McDowell, my own team station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Heavy rain and really strong winds is head towards North Dakota on Thursday, May the 15th, 2025. It's going to bring so much heavy rain, really strong winds in Bismarck, North Dakota. That's going to cause some power outages. It's going to bring really windy conditions in North Dakota, including Grand Forks, North Dakota, and Fargo, North Dakota, and the surrounding communities as well. Winds are going to be really strong in Bismarck, North Dakota. I urge everyone to don't walk to the puddles. Avoid the puddles or go for a walk. It will be too windy for your umbrella, and high winds can break the umbrella in North Dakota. I urge everyone to wear your reindeer, wear your rubble to wear your raincoat to keep dry.
Reindeer.
Have your rubble to raincoat to raincoats ready for people living in North Dakota, especially in Bismarck, North Dakota, because winds are going to be really strong. That's going to cause power outages. It's going to cause some flooding in Bismarck, North Dakota, and the rest of North Dakota. Streets, roads, highways, and interstate highways will be wet. In North Dakota, the winds are going to be really strong.
Wait, does he do a siren with this one?
Interstate 94 in
Oh,
Bismarck.
doing the siren. Hold on, I got the
Avoid the poles who go for a walk. Stay away from the flood.
He got me, bro. I need the siren before we go. All right, here, me doing the tornado siren in May 2025. Here we go. I got it.
This is the one. Yeah, this is the one.
We sat through that whole thing, bro.
I didn't know because I was looking for the new one that he did. Did you find it?
I got it. Yeah, me doing the tornado siren in May 2025. All right. There you go.
All right.
There you go. I thought it was Matt Damon. Someone's. Oh man, this guy's great. All right,
I love this dude. I'm subscribed.
I have it queued up.
Oh,
I'm gonna add this sound to my soundboard, right?
please.
Hey everybody, let's do a tutorial side. I'm Frank down.
Fucking love this guy, dude.
Oh my god, bro. I love that dude so much. Bro.
Oh man. All right.
I've laughed so much at his videos, dude. So much. He
All right,
knows.
now we can sign off. That was it.
All right, Juan. Thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Can you let people know where to find you, brother?
www.tjojp.com. Found all my stuff on there.
Sweet. Thanks for being here. Thanks for everyone in the chat. Appreciate you. Please be sure to hit the thumbs up button to help the channel and the algorithm. Share, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well for notifications. We didn't get any super chats this time, so Juan didn't get to do a song and dance for us. But next time we'll get him. We'll get him next month. But if you're listening on Juan's channel, you can check out my stuff on Raised by Giants on YouTube and any and all podcast platforms. See you guys next time. Bye bye.